video is to talk about what cause stalking is and what cause stalking is not. If you're being targeted, then you're probably confused about a lot of things. Suddenly, one day your life has changed and it's like being in a nightmare. You feel like you're being followed constantly, like strangers know everything about you. When you try to explain this to your friends and family, they don't understand. It doesn't make sense to them, and it doesn't make sense to you either. I can't make it go away, but I'm going to try to help you make some sense of it. Cause stalking, C-A-U-S-E, is a hate crime, and it's done by hate groups. The kind that you used to hear about in the 60s. Just because they're not making headlines these days doesn't mean that they've disappeared. When you realize you're being harassed and stalked 24/7, everything that you know is questioned. You may not have done anything other than piss off somebody who has connections to these groups. Could it be possible that somebody is getting into your home whenever they want? Is somebody listening to every word you say and then trying to use it against you? Why would someone who doesn't know you spread lies about you? Why would they hate you so much? You're in a state of total confusion. Then you find these websites that offer support, and you think, hooray, someone finally understands exactly what I'm talking about. Listen up. Those websites are established by the people who are harassing you. They are there to confuse you, to scare you, and to make you look even more crazy than you already seem to be. They make all sorts of astronomical claims that are blatant lies. Do not believe what you read on these websites. In fact, just stop reading them altogether. If you take a closer look, you'll see that the few decent websites that were out there have been closed down because of hacking attacks. The only ones that remain are the bad ones. So that's my recommendation to you, is to get off those websites, and you'll be glad you did. Some practical things, just from the standpoint of dealing with the amount of stress that you're facing. Get enough sleep, exercise regularly, and eat right. Nourish the relationships that you have because they are under attack. Find ways to make new friends and continue to make new friends all the time. Join free social organizations. Socialize with everyone that you meet, from the wait staff at a restaurant to the cashiers at the grocery store. Use some healthy coping mechanisms to help you get through this phase in your life. These are things that we can do to help you cope with high levels of stress. Things like helping others. This is huge. Find a way to do it and you reap the rewards. Humor. If you've had a horrible day, put on reruns of your favorite sitcom, a funny movie, call a funny friend. Laugh as much as you can. Sleep. If you just need to get away from it all, take a nap. It's a great escape. Don't let the napping turn into do-nothingism, which is when you just have the blahs and you have zero motivation to do anything. It's okay to have the blahs. It's okay to get down for a short amount of time. Just don't stay there. Don't stay there for days. You have to get back up. Knowing that the people that are harassing you are celebrating when you're down should give you what you need to get back up. Call on others for support. Learn something about yourself. What are some things that you can do, some activities you can do to help you relax? Going for a walk, team sports, crafting, reading, anything that takes your focus away from your problems for a while is going to be really, really healthy for you. Do not hide this from the people in your life, but be very careful about how you approach other people about this. In my experience, I find it's easier if I ask someone to read about it. Ask them to read something that was written by someone else, okay? A book. Send them an email with website links that they can look at their leisure. Not the gang stalking websites, though. Those websites, like I mentioned earlier, they just make targets sound absolutely crazy. It's true, yes. You are under surveillance constantly, even in your own home, and that sounds crazy enough all by itself. But when they start throwing things in about a government conspiracy or things like they can see you through your walls, that's just plain false, and it's intentionally there. Do you understand? You need to separate truth from fiction before you start talking to people about this. Moving on. When you're out and about by yourself, use an MP3 player and play music. In case you don't know this yet, your cell phone is being used to track your location and also as a listening device. Even when the cell phone is turned off, it will transmit sound. So if it's sitting on the table and you're having a conversation with someone, it's still transmitting your conversation. And you can look up news articles online on YouTube. Fox 13 News has a few news clips. Any person can belong to these groups. They could be law enforcement, utility workers, janitorial staff. Go ahead and inform the police anyway about this activity. Inform your local FBI office about this activity. I suggest you do it by email. They may not do anything about it, but I recommend that every target out there lets people know that this is happening. I would send an email, something brief with your contact information and stating that you're being harassed by local hate groups. If you want to do research online, focus on learning about coping mechanisms, how to deal with stress, self-improvement techniques, learning something new. Just don't focus your efforts on being a victim. Take the attitude of being a survivor, not a victim. Many of us are tempted to blog about our daily encounters with group members. This creates two huge problems. First, it provides a document in writing that makes you sound absolutely crazy. For example, I could say, this morning my newspaper was in the middle of the road for the 5th day in a row. Do you see how this proves nothing? Maybe you just have a lazy delivery person. Maybe you have a neighbor who puts it there every day. It doesn't prove anything. It just brings questions to your character. So, and even worse, it confirms to the group members that their tactics are working and that they should continue to do it. You're making it easy on them, and that's not what you want to do. So, I don't recommend blogging every day about your daily experiences. If there's something that the group members are doing to you that's causing you anxiety, expose yourself to it. Try exposing yourself to it if you can and relaxing during that experience. So what you're doing is training yourself to be relaxed under this stimulus. If you want to befriend another target, it may provide support for you, but pick a person who has a positive outlook. Pick a person who's not going to drag you down into the big mess of confusion. One last thing, you are going to need God to get you through this. If you haven't talked to God in a long time or ever, now is the time to do it. And let it be the first thing you do. He may not push a button that changes your situation right away, but he will change you. He will give you the strength you need to get through this. And when this is all over, you will be stronger and have a better outlook on life than anyone else you know. You will have learned what is the most important thing in life, and that's relationships. Your relationship with God and your relationship with others.